Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to episode 25 of the podcast Pigeons. It's been about 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. Two, yeah. Day after free agency was the last episode, and a couple things have happened. It's been pretty quiet. Um, how's everybody doing today?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, not too shabby.
And it's a almost forgotten voice that you haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, sorry, I've been just a little bit busy.
Hey man, you got grad school and stuff.
Yeah, moved to Virginia, down south. They're crazy down here.
Everything's gonna move a lot slower, so this whole New York thing, you're gonna have to take your time now.
I don't mind it, dude. I haven't met too many people. I've been working a lot, but we'll see how these people are.
That's good. I like Virginia. It was a nice place, except for when we played Tech and Liberty. They can go suck it.
Yeah, right. That's the only thing I know about Virginia. Those two dog shit schools.
But I mean, it was a big thing the week of after the whole Tavares signing because he was the second biggest. The second biggest name, honestly, because nothing had to happen with him. Eric Carlson, the Carlson Watch, still going on, but we know absolutely nothing. The only thing that we do know is that he was offered a contract extension by Ottawa for 8 years, $10 million, which is $1 million less than Doughty. I don't know. All signs pointed to Tampa with a third-party team. Everybody thought it was the Rangers. We don't know for sure. Taking on salary cap or Bobby Ryan in general. I don't know. It's just a clusterfuck of information that is, null and void at this point.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason why we haven't heard much of Carlson is because of that third-party team. When it was something to be said and done, the big concern there was that third-party team and their commitment, and that third-party team that was supposedly the Rangers, the Devils, whoever it was that was supposedly in on it, they were unsure if they wanted, take on Bobby Ryan's contract and give up a good amount of assets for basically not getting much, I would say, in a sense. So that's the big deal breaker here is that third-party team. And also with the Lightning signing Kucherov 3 days after the whole thing where it was Carlson's going to Tampa and they signed him to what I don't even know what it was, $9 million, $8.5 million a year.
Yeah, that's a sizable deal.
Yeah, that's a big crutch for Tampa Bay's salary cap space. So I don't know. It doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if Carlson stays in Ottawa now.
Oh, I would feel so bad for him.
I would feel absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But the Lightning kind of said, we can't wait any longer. We got to sign our top scorer.
Yeah, and I mean, as of right now, according to Cap Friendly, they've got about a little bit over $2.5 million in cap space. The Lightning, and with that would have came. In that deal, everybody was saying Ryan Callahan was going out of Tampa to free up some space. So I think.
Oh no, there was a good amount of names rumored in that deal that were going to be shipped out completely just to free up a ton of cap space for Carlson.
But honestly, if I were Carlson, and I know it doesn't make sense because I've never been in this sort of position, but Tampa's in a win now, era. So they are gearing for Cup Finals this year, Cup Finals next year, and possibly the year after that. Because they've got guys locked up for a little bit. But would you take a pay cut just to go to Tampa?
It depends how big this pay cut is.
Yeah.
So say
just for this year, if it was just for 1 year and then the rest of the years I'm getting close to my actual salary, then yeah, I'd do it.
I would have to agree.
Yeah, and it's those weird deals like that whole JVR deal where everybody thinks he's getting $7 million a year, but that's not the case.
Dude, Hextall is known for that though. That's what they said too.
Those crazy deals.
It's a typical Hextall deal. He makes a way to make it work. Where was he when Paul Holmgren was just destroying our team? It upsets me.
I think JVR also kind of definitely agreed to go back to Philly, be near his hometown and stuff like that. So I think that's a big factor in why he took why that deal worked out so well for the Flyers. But in Erik Karlsson's case, he's going far away from home. He's going into America, and that's fact. But he'll be away from Ottawa, be away from the whole situation. He'll probably win a Stanley Cup. So, it's a lot to consider. But all that's happened with Karlsson, his family, the whole wife thing, and Mike Hoffman, it's definitely a lot to handle with him.
And actually, now that you mentioned that, they'd both be in Florida.
Yeah,
so
they'd both be in Florida.
Yeah.
So,
but either way, they'd still be in the same conference, which is what a lot of people say. It doesn't make sense for him to go to Tampa. I mean, a lot of things make sense, but it's like, why would you trade a generational player in your conference?
That's true.
Or division, rather. But yeah, that was just a lot of fluff, and I was really, really disappointed because I would have loved to see, what happened. I mean, we all would have lost our minds, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Does it make Tampa Bay like cup contenders right away?
I think so, and it all depends on like the other
who they lost and stuff, I guess.
Because I mean, you can make arguments that Callahan's production isn't there anymore. So because to me that was the biggest name that was saying like he's leaving. But he's a guy that's going to grind. You could put him against ones and twos on the other team, and he'll just grind them down and do what he's supposed to do at this point, is now be physical, and then he could score like a couple clutch goals when it needs to happen. But it all depends. I mean, adding Karlsson is nothing but good in the long run.
Oh, absolutely. But on this topic, two big names too, and one very surprising name, Panarin trade talk or whatever rumors been going on, and Pacioretty trade talk. The Capitals GM came out and said that he's moving Pacioretty before the season starts.
Yeah, which does not make sense to me, honestly. There's got to be something that we don't know.
He does make sense.
Like
Mark Bergevin or whatever his name is.
Pacioretty has had 30 goals in almost every season, right?
Yeah, besides last year, I think. Besides like 2 years, maybe.
Let's see. And the fact that it's like we're not even. I mean, I understand Montreal sucks and everything, but to say that we're not even like entertaining the idea of a contract extension, I'm going to be moving.
I think they might have, and that's the reason why they're maybe moving forward with him. But to not even give him what he wants is just mind-blowing to me. But you'll give Shea Weber a ridiculous deal, and the guy's going to be out till Christmas. So that's good.
Probably even longer, in all honesty. He's not going to be 100% until probably well past that, because that's not the first time he's banged up his knee.
He's not going to be 100% for the rest of his career. Let's just put it at that.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, this year was well. I mean, games played wise was
33 maybe.
Or no, not for Weber, for Pacioretty.
Pacioretty.
I mean, the last 2 years, last 3 years, he almost played 3 full seasons. 14 through 17, missed a total of 3 games. But then last year played 64 games and only scored 17 times for a total of 37 points.
He had a little bit of a down year, but so did the Canadians in general. So
yeah, and I mean, you could say adding Domi is going to help, and
Joel and Maria.
Yeah, and their draft pick that everybody was very shocked by, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because it's super, super foreign.
Don't even try.
I mean, there's stuff he could look forward to, but right now they had him at a steal, and I guess they were like, you're not going to get the $7 million deal that you deserve? I don't know. I would love to know like the behind the scenes of everything that was going on with them, because it doesn't make sense to me.
The time we're at right now, I think it's the best time for hockey, because you have all the free agent signings going off, the trades going off, and you also have the fancy hockey news, the sleepers, the big projection things. This is my favorite time of the year for hockey, because the season starts like relatively soon. It'll be here before we know it, in a sense. Yeah, it'll be here before we know it, in a sense. So all this stuff's going on. This is my favorite time of the year.
And to continue with this whole why hasn't so and so been re-signed? You mentioned Panarin, and that one confuses me almost more than Pacioretty.
I wonder why he wants to get out of Columbus. He had one of his best years.
Yeah, he had just over a point a game, 82 points in 81 games. And then even his past 3 seasons in Chicago, he had over a point a game. I mean, you were playing with Patrick Kane, but still. It doesn't make, or 2 seasons, I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense to me as to why he would want to leave, because you know they're going to pay him, and you know that, Columbus has been a playoff team the last few years, and he was great for them in the playoffs.
And they haven't done much in this offseason, but they have some names that are still like Cam Atkinson was even out for most of the year, and he's going to be healthy again this year. So they have names. That's why it's confusing. And they signed Riley Nash, Anthony Duclair, Boone Jenner back. So they have people, and they have some like bright spots on their roster. So I'm very surprised. And they're a relatively young team. So I'm surprised why he is so like up and leaving Columbus.
Yeah. And if he stays, he'll get paid too. Because
but my conspiracy theory is Panarin's going to go back to the Blackhawks, because I just read something that the Blackhawks are using their salary cap closer to the regular season starting. So I'm thinking Panarin's holding off a little bit, and he's going to get a deal from Chicago around late August.
All right, say that's true. Chicago needs to make up their goddamn mind who they want to keep and who they want to get rid of.
They need to get rid of Brendan Saad, like AAC.
Again?
Yeah, he needs to go.
It boggles my mind. But even if he doesn't want to sign a long-term deal, why doesn't he sign a bridge deal and make a decent chunk of change? Like for him, a solid bridge deal, 2-3 years, and in that last year you can get like that modified no trade or whatever. You could get like $4 or $5 million a year. Probably even more, honestly, because
we could easily get like a 3-year, $4.5 million deal easily.
And that's on the low side, honestly, because the production that he can put up and has like done. And I hate it. I hate the fact that like players can be so picky sometimes when you're that good.
I think he honestly he wants to go somewhere where there's a ton of Russians on the team, or he wants to go back to Chicago.
Rangers. And I get it, though. I wouldn't want to live in Ohio either. I'm sorry if anybody listening to this is from Ohio. There's not much there. There's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Blue Jackets. That's it.
Football Hall of Fame.
Is that there, too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, he doesn't make sense to me, even more so than the Pacioretty thing, because you could get like a solid deal there and still have fun, because that the fans love you and the team loves you. So,
I think so. Like I said, if Panarin doesn't go to Chicago, I really don't know where he's going to go, but he'll probably go back to Columbus. This might just be like him holding off just to see like what other teams are interested and what he'll get from other teams. But I could see Panarin go back to Columbus or Chicago, and Pacioretty's definitely gone. Like I think him and Montreal have parted ways. They're on different wave paths, and he needs to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, but who's the best fit for Pacioretty, do you think?
I think San Jose.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do they have at center? And he's a 30-goal scorer easily on a good team.
As much as I hate to say it, and like if it could happen,
Boston too.
I was thinking Boston, but as much as I hate it, Pittsburgh, they would be a perfect fit for him. Feeding that man the puck nonstop. They have great passers, but they would have to give up something. I understand that.
He would be a third-line center. I mean, that would stack their third line, or even...
Okay, but if they could make it work where they could get him without having to get rid of Malkin, Crosby, or Kessel...
Well, what is their...
They would have to stack somebody on either side of the wing, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, we've seen Malkin play wing, too.
I'm just saying, I think if he went to Pittsburgh, that's like, because all the Skinner talk, like what all those things, like he was going to go to Pittsburgh apparently. I really think that if
They'd have
Pittsburgh
to
could
move something
land
big.
Pacioretty, honestly, they'd be the best team in the East.
They'd have to
I
move a
think they'd
lot
be
of
better
stuff.
than Tampa almost. I really think they'd be there, even though Tampa's got way better young defense.
Yeah, if he goes to Pittsburgh, they're easily again one of the best teams in the NHL.
Yeah.
All they need is just like one more piece on defense, and they're complete.
Yeah, and they if they were somehow to be able to move the money to get him, like I said, like if they could make a deal without having to get rid of the key guys, that would honestly, like, they would be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it now, they have under $1 million in projected cap space, which is rough, like super rough. So they'd have to get rid of a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously you'd have to get rid of picks probably, because I think Montreal's in an unspecified rebuild now. 'Cause, I mean, they're that bad.
Oh no, I think Montreal's in a well-known rebuild, and they're completely wheels are off the wagon, and they're just fucking rolling.
They're in more than a well-known rebuild. I think they're just absolutely going down the shitter.
No, but nobody wants to say it in Montreal because they're Montreal.
Yeah, like that Max Domi trade. They're like, Max Domi, yeah, he's gonna help us out. Like, what the fuck did he do in Arizona? How's he gonna help you out in fucking Montreal?
Yeah, he had like very good little spurts as opposed to
Yeah.
Galchenyuk, who was like consistent throughout the years.
What else? Let's see what else. Oh my God, Dallas has been busy, but let's see what else Montreal added. They signed McClanac back. They did get the defenseman from Detroit.
Hey, let's not forget they bought out
Ouellette.
Steve Mason. Pretty much, they put him on waivers. Okay, so they have Steve Mason.
Yeah, right. Steve Mason, he's a journeyman now.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
That's depressing.
dude, he's like third or fourth in Flyers wins for starting goaltenders. It's kind of sad.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of sad, like that he's going through all this.
Oh yeah, Kenny Augustino went to the Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael,
that guy, the
Matthew
defenseman,
Pekka.
the defenseman from Detroit, whatever his name is, Oliet.
Yeah, Xavier. Yeah, I'm not good. And Joel Armia. A lot of 1-2 year deals.
They added so many small pieces. It's nothing like major.
Yeah. Remember when Michael Ryder was like a dominant force on Boston, Montreal, and Dallas?
Speaking of Boston, that's been a team that's been pretty quiet this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, they were right there. They just, got outplayed by Tampa. They play anybody else, I think they make it to Eastern Conference Final, maybe.
They signed. What are they going to do? Well, they have Halak and John Moore. I think the John Moore signing is pretty big. I think that helps out their defense.
Yeah, but I think they were, overly generous with that contract.
Oh, definitely a little overly generous, but I think they signed John Moore with the intention that Char is in his last year, probably, and he's going to retire. So you have somebody else to fulfill Char's spot, but mainly for that veteran presence. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. Looking at it, he only gets $2.75 a year, roughly. But I think 5 years was, I mean, it's not an awful signing. We've seen worse.
I mean, at 27 years old, that's pretty good for him. That's a normal contract, I would say, for a defenseman that logged that many minutes and was New Jersey's captain and number one defenseman.
Yeah. I am still very excited for Buffalo. Super excited.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to get excited, honestly. Like, I'm not even a fan, but like, I don't know. I don't want to get excited. Jack Eichel changed his number. They get what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God.
What are we talking? Carter Hutton,
Connor Sheary.
Yeah. Are we talking player or
Casey Middlestat's there?
No, in that O'Reilly trade, they absolutely robbed. What's his name?
They absolutely robbed the Blues. I didn't know what you were talking about at first.
Yeah.
I think we all agreed that too. Like
the Buffalo got two NHL ready players. Sobotka, Berglund, two NHL ready forwards, and they got one of the Blues' top prospects, Tate Thompson, who's probably going to be ready for the NHL in like a year or two.
And they have Dahlin.
So, and they get Dahlin, and they get Casey Middlestat this year. I don't know. I don't want to get excited because I'm not even a fan, but it's just going to be heartbreaking when they suck again.
Don't say that.
Let's run through the deals real quick because Justin's ready.
Okay, so Connor Hellebuck signed 6 years, $37 million, well deserved. I mean, it was based off of one season, but I think he can keep it up, especially with the team that's in front of him. Who else? Not Hampus. Elias Lindholm signed with the Flames, 6 year, $4.8 million a year. That's a really good signing for him. I think that's I think that's a little bit under market
he's a
for
sleeper.
Yeah. Who else? Adam Henrique re-signed to a 5-year extension for about.
Yeah, that was a little surprising.
For how much? How long that he re-signed? What?
He signed 5 years. Hold on, I'll get it.
$5.825 million a year, roughly.
I honestly think that's great value for Adam Henrique. He's like,
I mean, he's well established.
But not only that, he's like one of those guys. He can do anything.
Devils.
Like he can penalty kill. He can be a power play guy. But like, he does put up points. It's not like he's not showing it either. Like he does everything. There's some guys who are out there on everything and don't really do much. He does it all and puts up decent numbers.
Let's see who else. Oh yeah, Jacob Trouba filed for arbitration. He wants
again. Every single year, this guy, man.
Did you see how much he wants?
How much?
$7 million a year.
Oh my God!
I don't know how.
He was definitely drunk when he. He was drunk when he requested that.
He's not even that good. Like no
not
offense.
7 years.
Yeah, not
I mean,
$7 million.
Not $7 million.
Not $7 million. Yeah. That's insane.
And the Jets counteroffer was about 4 a year. I don't
pretty
know
reasonable.
what the term was. Yeah, I would go 4, 5 at most.
He's acting like he's a very established NHL defenseman that puts up great number. No, he's solid, but he's acting like he's an all-star. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
that's all-star status.
I think Toby Enstrom is either unrestricted or restricted. And they haven't re-signed him.
He's
yet.
unrestricted, I think.
Yeah, they haven't done anything with him either.
Don't forget Penguins signed Jimmy Hayes.
Oh yeah, poor Jimmy Hayes. I feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah, he's the journeyman right now.
Yeah, he's bounced all over the place, and then you see Kevin is waiting on arbitration for re-signing with the Rangers. And with that,
definitely the better Hayes is that.
For sure.
At least we got the better Hayes.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up as we talk for restricted, unrestricted free agents that re-signed. The Rangers signed Jimmy Vesey to, for me, a bridge deal, I guess, of 2 years, $2.275 a year. I think that was a bit too much.
You think it's too much?
I think it's a little bit too much.
Honestly, in a rebuild mode, like you guys are kind of in, I think that's a perfect contract. You're not overpaying, and it's honestly like he could put up really good numbers. You don't necessarily know. I mean, Jimmy Vesey's pretty good.
But he's only put up 16 and 17 goal seasons.
Yeah, but your team's kind of dog shit right now.
His first year they weren't.
Yeah, okay, well, rookie year, how many goals he had? 17?
16.
All right, so 16 goals in your rookie year, that's pretty fucking good.
I mean, but I don't know. He hasn't really proved. I mean, he proved that he could take a puck to the face and continue playing. Good on him, but
I don't know.
I just think he's stupid for not going to Nashville. Yeah. I still think about that. What an idiot.
He's on my team.
He said he thought he would have a better future in New York. What a moron.
I think he was making that claim. He has a better future in New York, not just looking at like hockey, like living wise, like
yeah, I could see that.
He went to school. I think he grew
Harvard.
up in New York.
Yeah, he was a New England guy. My last coach actually played college hockey with his dad at Merrimack, way back when.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's a good deal. Like Josh said, it's a here's your $2.5 million. Go out and prove. You have 2 years to do it. If not, you're gone. And he has a lot more free range now because they are in a rebuild and they are expecting him to be a lot better. So this is his like, hey, like, all right, this is kind of your last chance or you're gone.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a, not yet veteran, but it's a guy who's played a lot of hockey. I think he's played most of his seasons both years, and then help out because it's going to be a really young team this year for them. So it's nice, friendly ear that's seen some shit.
I think I think he's like one of those players where he's not labeled obviously a veteran yet because he's still young, but he's like one of those guys where like he was in the rookie's position at one point, and he has a lot to tell them, a lot to show them, and he could teach them a lot. So I think he's in that. That's also probably a big point of why they gave him that 2-year, a little bit more money than probably expected, was to help the younger guys out that they have coming up.
Yeah, and they also re-signed John. Last thing, they also signed John Gilmore, which I'm very happy about. Re-signed him.
I love that. I love that guy.
All right, so now Josh is going to take the reins because I have no idea what the hell is happening.
Okay, so remember the game show I described to you guys that's on the radio every Friday when I'm, at 12 o'clock? They do this thing where they basically take the radio host and he competes against a guest that calls in. If the guest wins, he gets something. If the radio host wins, typically another guest that he's playing for would win. But in our case, we are going to play against the guest to show how much we know, kind of to, in a sense, like back our own selves up. Like we all consider ourselves hockey guys, and I decided to kind of throw it on Bobby as a surprise today. Since he has a little more free time, I didn't want to give him a chance to study. Just some hockey trivia, and he's going to go against my cousin Justin, who will be winning a $10 Wawa gift card if he can win. So, JJ, do you have an iPhone, right?
I do.
All right. Can you set a timer for 45 seconds on it for me?
Hold on.
And I'll tell you when to start it. And Bobby, go downstairs.
Okay.
Let me know when you want to start it.
All right. I'm going to ask you to start it once I finish reading this question, and it'll say start it. And then once it's up, just interrupt whenever, like if he's talking or if I'm talking, just interrupt and say it's over.
All right.
All right. So after this question, start it. All right, Justin, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. In the 2006 Stanley Cup Finals during Game 1, after Carolina defenseman Nicholas Wallen illegally covered the puck in his own net, a penalty shot was awarded to the Oilers. Who scored the goal? And you can start it.
This is a hard question.
Yeah, don't forget, you got 45 seconds to answer a few more. So if you want
Do I have to just answer as many people as I want?
just say one if you're right or you're wrong.
Who was on the Oilers back then? Eberle, Pronger, Hall. What?
Pronger?
Yeah.
All right, you're right.
20 seconds.
All right, you got 20 seconds left. So you look at that. Who has the most 5-on-3 goals in NHL history? As the shorthanded player.
Shorthanded, Ovechkin.
Wrong.
Crosby, Stamkos.
You can only name one. Who was the first overall pick in 2010 NHL draft?
All right, it's up.
It's up. Wow, it's terrible. Justin, I expected more.
Expected more.
All right. So let's call Bobby.
That was a tough first question.
I know, but I was hoping he was just going to throw a name out and then try and get through the other ones. But that's how, I tried to, the other questions are balanced for both you and like Bobby to, if you got further along, they got actually easier.
Yeah.
But let me go get Bobby and we'll do the 45 seconds for him as well. So Justin got one correct out of 3 asked. He didn't get the answer to the last one. But let me go get Bobby and see if you guys at least tie or who wins. Dun, 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 dun.
Look like a complete asshole.
He did really good. Really, really good.
All of them are.
All right, so here we go. Same rules. JJ, start the timer after I'm done reading the first question, okay?
Yep.
All right. In the 2006 Stanley Cup Finals, during Game 1, Carolina defenseman Nicholas Wallen illegally covered the puck in his own net, awarding a penalty shot to the Oilers. Who scored the goal? And you can start it.
Fuck. Oilers 06.
Just blurt out names.
Just name one because you got to move along.
I said
All right,
Gagne.
you're wrong. All right, next question. Who scored the most 5-on-3 goals in NHL history as the shorthanded player?
Gretzky.
Who was the first overall pick in the 2010 NHL draft?
10? Shit, I don't know. This is dumb. I hate this game.
Just name something. Come
on. Patrick Kane was
5.
like 8 or 9. I'm not taking your help.
All right,
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my God! It was Taylor Hall. You both didn't get it. All right, so guess what? Justin fucking won with one correct. He got Pronger is the Oilers shootout penalty shot. Are you fucking kidding me, Bob?
How am I supposed to know that? I wasn't paying attention.
So here
to
are the
hockey
other
like
questions. Here are the other questions. Oh, Mike Richards was the most 5-on-3 goals, by the way. That is a stat I think I've thrown out to you a million times. This one, so Taylor Hall was 2010. Next one, I figured might be hard for both of you, but who fought Robert Esch in the Ottawa versus Philly playoff brawl back in the day? Who was the goalie for Ottawa?
Was it Emery?
Ray Emery.
No, it was Patrick O'Leam.
Oh, fuck.
Never heard of him.
So that's why I figured it'd be hard. And then this one, I didn't know would be super easy, but I thought Bobby might know it. Who's the New York Rangers all-time leading scorer?
Mark Messier.
That would make sense. Or I feel like, how many years did Yager play for them? I don't think it would be enough to be all-time leading scorer, though. He did dominate.
No. He did dominate, though. All-time leading
I guess
scorer.
I would stick with Messier.
No, it is Rod Gilbert. He
Gilbert.
had Gilbert. I don't know, but Brian Leach was number 2. So if just in case you guys tied, this is why I really wanted you to get it right. So if you tied, this would have been nice. The tiebreaker would have been name all of Jaromir Jagr's teams back and forth. Like Justin could have started with Philly, you could have started with the Rangers, and you would have went back and forth until one of you was either wrong or they ran out of teams.
Philly, Pittsburgh, Caps,
Dallas,
Rangers, Dallas,
Bruins.
Yeah, Bruins, Flames,
Florida.
Yeah, Florida. I think that's the last one. I think.
Yeah, you guys got them all, and you got the Devils. So.
Oh, Devils! Fuck.
Yeah, so there you go. But Justin, you won a $10 Wawa card. This is the first time, and it was a little impromptu. I just wanted to let you guys get a feel of how it actually works.
Not very good with fast Twitch answers.
I wanted to throw it on you to get the surprise like I kind of did Justin. I just texted him and said, hey, you up to this? So good job. Justin got it right. He said, oh, no, I liked Pronger, and he got it right.
That was
honestly lucky.
That was a hard first one.
It was a hard one, but I figured they got kind of easier as they went along. I thought Taylor Hall was... Everybody remembers it was Hall or Sagan, so...
I did not.
I don't know years.
But, Justin, you were good, my friend. Thank you. I will present you with a $10 Wawa card on Friday or whenever I'll see you next.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, that sucks for me. I guess the last thing, and we mentioned him when we were going through names, Ray Emery passed away, 3 days ago?
Yeah, it's a real shame, too. Like, it's not a guy that... Not the guy he started out his career as being, which is why, like, I feel like there's even more out... Like, obviously it's upsetting when people die, especially somebody who's made an impact in someone's life, but I feel like it was really hard for people to realize, like, this is a guy who completely did a 360 on his career and his life, and it gets ended in a very, very sad way.
Yeah, I was actually very, very surprised at his overall record. Let me bring it up real fast so I don't mess it up. Here we go, hockey reference. Out of, let's see, his first year was 2002 with Ottawa, and then finished up his last season in 2015 for Philly. Had an overall record of 145, 86, and 28. That's better. I mean, even though it was 287 games
What was the
played,
save percentage and goals against?
Save percentage, .906.
It's pretty good.
And goals against was 2.7. I was incredibly
That's
shocked.
really
'cause
not bad.
Well, you
that's
guys
really
also
good.
got to remember he took Ottawa to the finals the one year. First the Ducks.
Yeah, I mean, stellar numbers of a guy that I didn't, think twice about. I'm like, oh, Ray Emery. The first thing that pops into everybody's mind is when he dummied Holtby,
Yeah, and
which was completely unfair.
Yeah, but he told Holtby.
There's no way
The
he was
story is that
winning
when
that
he was
matchup.
skating down, Holtby said like, "No, I don't want to fight you" or whatever. And Ray Emery said, "Well, you better protect yourself then." And he just started pounding away.
What a bizarre way to pass away. Also,
Yeah,
He's swimming in
as
Hamilton.
totally,
Bay, something like that.
yeah, the Hamilton Harbor, something like
Yeah.
that. And that's the last thing I would have expected was he was swimming and he just drowned. Like it's awful to hear, and it's just very, very different way you hear about hockey players and people of his age, 33 years old, passing away.
and one thing I just want to say I remember about Ray Emery was back in 2009, 2010. I remember how excited I was when they signed him because I remember he left the NHL for a year, and I think he went over to Russia, and I just thought it was so awesome. Like Flyers finally going to have a better goalie. We were just getting off the Martin Biron years, and he was 16-11-1 before he got hurt, and he had that. It was supposed to be like a career-ending hip surgery, but he also had 3 shutouts. He got a shutout in his first game, and then got a shutout in his last game as a Flyer that season. So they shut him down. I tell people all the time, if he never got hurt, Flyers would have made the playoffs that year. They still would have made the run that they made, and Ray Emery was better than Michael Leighton, so there is a chance they would have won that year. And then I remember when he came back as a backup, he wasn't as good, but I don't know. He gave this team life. I remember he beat the Rangers in Game 2, and I loved him. I thought he was a guy who was just good to have on your team. Players looked up to him, and that was very clear.
Oh, I mean, yeah, everything that you saw from another player was he was great friend, great. It's more than just the generic stuff. I mean, he was one of those guys that you'd love to be around, apparently. So, I mean, it's weird. It's very, very weird.
He won the cup with Chicago.
Yeah.
For a guy that was a as a backup, he had a pretty great career.
Yep.
He won 2 cups.
No, he won 1 cup. And he was
13.
17-1. That one year they won the cup, and it was a shortened season year.
Oh yeah. Adam 19 games played, so I don't know what happened to the other one.
He probably got pulled or got put in it.
Yeah, probably.
It's the only options.
Yeah, that was it was one of the more shocking deaths, and he was 7th in voting.
Especially at such a young age, too.
Yeah, and it wasn't because, I mean, I don't know if they came out with any other findings that they had about it. But
all I read that was he was swimming with friends,
Yeah.
and he just never resurfaced. They didn't know what happened.
Yeah, that's what I read, too.
yeah, it's same. But I mean, the hockey world lost a great person, and hopefully one of them will hear us say this. But our condolences and everything go out to him and his family, and basically anybody that's ever been affected in their life by him. Yeah. On a somber note, anything else you guys got to talk about?
Yeah, you owe me $10.
Bro, I don't even have a job.
Oh my God, embarrassing! I had really thought you were gonna win it for me.
Whatever. You got anything? JJ?
Vegas is going to sign Carlson, I think.
I mean, they were in him at the deadline and then pulled out because they wanted Shea Theodore.
That's what I'll leave it off on.
All right. Well, you guys know the deal. Subscribe, rate, review us on iTunes. Keep it coming. Follow us on Twitter at Podcast Pigeons. And now we have an Instagram at the Podcast
Yes,
Pigeons.
you can watch our attempt at
Horrible.
shattering a beer in my
Horrible
goalie
attempt.
glove. And It's not, dude. They gotta pop the tops on those things or something beforehand because that sucked.
I also shoot the puck about 10 miles an hour. What else? Check JJ stuff out. Liveinthestands.com and at liveinthestands on Twitter. He's putting stuff out every day. Well, yeah,
a lot of fantasy hockey news coming up.
Yeah, that season is right around the corner. Other than that, we've got Spotify too. Check us out on there. There's 2 of us because the other one didn't get taken down after I changed over the host. So the one with our most recent and frankly pretty bad logo is the one to listen to. So until then, we'll see you guys. Peace.